Hello everyone, welcome to the Blends and Beyond Facebook group. My name is Alisa Tilsner and I thought I would jump on really quickly just to do a little bit of colouring in, just make sure I am in the right group. Yep, there I am. Okay, let me just get that set up and so I can see comments. Okay, so I thought I would replicate a little bit of this type of colouring because once our designer paper is gone, I want to be able to colour similarly, not exactly the same, but I thought while I've got it out, while I'm creating for my Creative Card Makers Club, I would tackle this because they're going to need to colour it during class. So I've got my image stamped out and this is from the I know the name of the stamp set is called Winterly Treetops and the name of the paper is called Nests of Winter and it is in the upcoming mini catalogue. So let's zoom in a little bit further on this so that I can try and stay where I am. So I've got four colours out. Four colours out. So I've got some cherry cobbler, crumb cake, pool party. We don't have Coastal Cabana, which is actually the paper, and I've got some Daffodil Delight as well. And I've also got a Posca paint pen. So let's start with the with these little berries, and I'm just going to keep my dark area in the same like just underneath each one. Hello Wendy. I know, just, you know, always come in spontaneously because I'm thinking, well, I've got to colour it anyway, so why don't I colour it in here, and I still can't colour and talk at the same time. Okay, so I've just done my little cherry cobbler dark and we'll come in with the light. This isn't fancy colouring, just letting you know. So I'm just going to come over the top of them. So, and I'm not leaving a white space. I will pop that in with my Posca paint pen when we are done. Wendy, yes, it's a great set. I'm really enjoying playing with this and I love it because cards just come together so quickly when we do this. Okay, so normally I will go dark and then I will do light, and this time I am going to use my crumb cake and I'm going to put down my light first. There is quite a difference between the light and the dark crumb cake, either that or I might actually I thought I've got a new set of blends, so I'm not sure whether this one's just really light or whether it's drying out, can't tell. So, but anyway, I'm going to just colour these in. They are super fine, so we're using the bullet tip. And then what I'm going to do with my dark is just come in and along that bottom line, I'm actually just going to dot. And I'm going to try and do it a little bit randomly, so some of it may seem like it's strung together, and then other bits you can see it a little bit better up here where it's a little bit thicker, but we're just going to I can't remember the term for when you do dots, pointillism, that's the word. So we're just doing some dots just to give a little bit of interest to our tree branch. So like that, and then I usually wait for it to dry a little moment and then I will come in and do a little second round because, you know, you can layer your blends and when you layer them on top of each other they get darker, so that'll give a little bit of difference as well. Okay, oops, I am also going to do my beaks in brown. I shouldn't call it brown, I should call it crumb cake. So I'm just going to do close to his head, I'm going to use the dark and then just come in with the light. These are super tiny, so we won't worry too much about them. Okay, and then I usually come in a second time because I do find that that light crumb cake does eat out any dark area. So I'm just going to come in, and again you can go back over a handful of times just to darken that up if you wish. So hopefully I'm close enough so that you can see. Okay, so now comes the fun parts. We're going to use our pool party, and honestly when it dries, it's pretty close to Coastal Cabana. It's probably why we didn't have a Coastal Cabana. And we don't have a Crush Curry either, so I'm figuring that those colours, you know, are very similar. One colour that I wish we did have though was a garden green, and I know this because we all love garden green, right? Hi Elizabeth. Okay, so I am going to use the brush tip for these ends, and I am going to start under his beak, and I'm just going to come down, and I've got to look behind me because I've got one that's coloured in already, and I just got to keep looking back to see how I actually did it. So, because you can never, I can never colour two things perfectly the same. Hey Deb, hey Kerry. So, and when this one, I'm just going to flick out, and I'm going really lightly and really gently, just in that flicking motion, so that I can get, I'm going to see if I can zoom in just a little bit tighter for you guys. There we go, just so that you can really get what's going on here. So the wing and his little face. So I'm going to come around. I'm not going to worry about his eye, but just doing really feathery flicks, and I'll take that down under his chin, if birds have chins, his neck. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with my light and finish off that wing. They're fairly similar in colour, and then we're going to flick starting from the base of the beak again, and we're going to just go in a circular motion, turning my paper as I go, and then I get that nice little feathery stroke. Whoops, I got to come back over. And then same with the other little bird. So just to fill in that, and then I'm going to start and flick. So going over what I've done and then flicking out, and I do believe I get close to the wing, but not quite. But again, turning the card as I go around so I can sort of keep in that little radiating look, and flick that out. And see how it feathers out nicely, almost like to a real faded look, because we're lifting, as we flick, we're lifting our wrist off, and it just gives that really nice feathery look. So it fades out to nothing. Okay, then I'm going to come back in with my dark, and I'm going to go over his wing again and let that fade out a little bit on his tail. Do his wing again, and then I'm going to come back. So I'm going round and round and round. Feel like I'm going around in circles. So with the dark, and again I'm just using that flicking motion with the wrist, and I'll go around him, come back to this guy, and give him a little bit of a top up. And then I'm actually going to come back to this one again because I like to have it quite dark. That way his little, it really gets that nice little fade going on. So we've just got that little blush going on with his face. Okay, and then sort of similar with his under his wings. So using the dark first, I'm going to start. Now you do have to be careful, because if you move into the pool party, it will turn slightly green. So just try and stay away from that. And again, I'm just doing light flicks. So just sort of trying to keep them nice and feathery and light. And because I'm pulling it towards myself, I'm lifting up as I flick this way. And that will hopefully not, you know, doing it this way and keeping it nice and feathery, that way you don't have to use a colour lifter. We've got those nice little flicks. going on, and they're uneven and they're sort of a bit feathery. Okay, so coming around under this wing. I think it's starting to rain. It's actually been quite warm. We had 24 degrees today. Where my husband is up in Ceduna, they had 27 degrees, so but it's a little bit rainy now. But still warm. Okay, so really, really light and feathery, and when that settles down, it'll sink into the paper. We'll come back with a little bit of the dark. This is quite a dark yellow, nice bright dark yellow. So we will just do a tiny little bit again under there just to enhance that. And that's all I'm going to do for that little bird. So I'm going to bring my paper in again. And I think we got it pretty, not too bad. I should see whether, can't even see it. There we go, because I zoomed in. But there's one little thing that I want to do now, and that's to grab my Posca paint pen. And I'm just going to make sure that I am actually in the screen. I have to keep standing up. So we need to shake the Posca. And what I normally do is just grab a little bit of a scrap and make sure that it is definitely activated before I start using it. And then all I'm going to do is put some little white dots, but I'm going to have them all in the same direction, in the same orientation, so that it looks like the sun is capturing it on the same side. So because they're so small, rather than trying to leave a little bit of a white space, we'll just come in and pop them in. And this will sometimes dry a little bit on the clear side, like it sort of soaks in. So you may have to go back and just give it a little bit more. See, that one's dried a little bit. So just depending on how bright you want these, but the good thing is that they do fade in and they don't stand out too much. And I'm only just touching the paper. And it sort of gives our image a little bit of a lift. So I think they look quite sweet. And the other good thing is that if you don't like them, the Posca is actually, you can go back over it with your alcohol markers, because it's paint, you can sort of tint over them. So there we go. There is our little bird. You can go back. I just might extend the blue a wee bit. So while those dots are drying, don't go and stick your finger in them, which is something that I would do. I would probably go and rest my finger on the card and accidentally smudge everything. So don't be doing that. Okay, so there we have it. So he is going to be used for, or they, I shouldn't say he, they are going to be used. Is the Posca pen better than a gel pen? I've got both. I always struggle with a gel pen they never seem to want to, like, they'll get working for a little while and then they'll, see, I'll bring this in here. This is a newish one. You can see it's still got plenty of, but they'd never want to, don't want to, like, I always, every single one that I've had, I've never been able to have it, I'm just trying to pull back a little bit. It doesn't really want to. I can zoom in, but it doesn't, there we go. I can't seem to get that ball, and I've not used one up. It always happens. So at least with this one, you just need to shake it and you can get them going. And like I said, you can actually go over the top and tint them. So you can change your color with that way. So I like them. I've started using them, or an acrylic, any acrylic marker is good. And that's what I basically used when I had that little whoopsie on my card and I got ink on my card. I just covered it over. I had a different brand one, but you can just cover it over with this. You can just paint on your card and cover any boo-boos up. Okay, so there we go. There is my little birds. I'm going to use him in some, I've got 3 made, I've got 3 more to go, and so he's going to be used for next month's card making club. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you again in here another time. See ya.